Hey, now welcome into Bergie and Booker show. He's Bergie. I'm Booker. I'm in an office. He's surrounded by palm trees, although a little bit of a breeze.
Yeah,
Uh,
66 here today, Book.
a little chilly, huh? Big Terps game. That reminds me, we'll get to the NCAA picks, but we have some NFL news. Obviously, a huge quarterback move. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than Baker Mayfield to the Tampa Bay Bucks. It really doesn't. I think it's a great move for the Bucks. You know, they've got the Florida kid there. He's been there for a couple of years, and they say they like him. But bringing Baker in, who I think he can probably have his career resurrected, whether or not it's dead yet or not. But who are you talking about?
Oh, I thought maybe Aaron Rodgers might have hit your radar as a big-time quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who followed Brett Favre and now following him to the Jets, just like Brett Favre did. I mean, this guy, can't he live his own life? I mean, what the hell?
I like that. Also, Baker Mayfield does have more Heisman trophies than Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, while he did go to two schools, one of them was not a junior college like Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, so Baker, listen, I think Baker can win. I think Baker can win in the league, especially if the Bucks are going to run and build around the defense. I'm waiting to hear the Tom Brady news that he's going to Miami.
Coming back, that would be interesting and weird and odd. But so you talked about Baker Mayfield potentially being able to win. Let's talk about some of my picks in the NCAA tournament who are ready to win. I like the Terps, first of all.
The Terps have a tough opening draw because at this juncture in life, who doesn't like Huggy Bear? I mean, how can you not like Bob Huggins at West Virginia? Yep. I mean, his players love him. He's one of those guys. When he was at Cincinnati, people thought he had thugs and he had this, but I think as time has gone on, he's one of those coaches that I don't think he's a BSer. I think he's there for his kids. I think he wants to give kids an opportunity. I think he's a little bit like the John Cheneys and the John Thompsons and those guys that a lot of people didn't like, but his players would run through fire for and would do anything for. So obviously I want the Terps to win, but I wish they weren't. I wish it wasn't against Huggy Bear. But the next draw, either team gets Bama. So you're kind of in a tough spot. But I had an idea. What do you think we pick the first we pick through the Sweet 16 today, and then next week kind of see where we are and how well we did. How have you paid a lot of attention to college basketball this year?
Of course. I do broadcasting for college hoops, brother. I got them all down. My picks are straight cash, homie. Starting with Alabama over Texas A&M.
Okay. So I'm gonna get my piece of paper here because we do a couple things in the Bergstrom house. We do an overall family pool.
Sure.
And that's a little bit different than this because Kaylee likes to pick teams based upon colors and mascots.
Yep.
And some of the other kids pick things based upon their heart. And Duke likes to code a program and put it into his program and give him the best odds. He believes he's going to get the Warren Buffett $1 million a year for life win this year. But anyway, so Bama, Texas. We'll just run down the line here. Who do you got? Bama, Texas.
Bama.
Do you think they'll have a metal detector at the game for the Bama players as they walk in?
Bergie, no shortage of darts today for you. No shortage at all.
Is Bama like an NFL? I mean, an NBA team? Like they're going to have the metal detectors so the players will bring their guns?
They very well might have to.
I have Bama as well. The next game, who do you got? Maryland.
I got Maryland.
I got Maryland too. I think it's going to be, it all depends. Like every game against West Virginia, can you break the press? I mean, they're gonna press you all game. San Diego State, Charleston.
I have Charleston.
I have Charleston as well.
Interesting. No way they win. We've just put the kibosh on that. Then one of my favorite coaches of all time, Tony Bennett. I've had the good fortune of doing a bunch of Virginia games, and he could not be a nicer, just a greater guy to talk to. He introduces you to all of his assistants. You hang out with him for a little while just to prepare for the game. So I have Virginia advancing quite nicely.
So my disdain for UVA is outweighed by common sense. And I 100% agree with you. Virginia wins the game. And I don't like saying it either, but I think he's a great coach. I think he's a very good coach. And he's got a real name as opposed to the lacrosse coach who sounds like he's, a little stuffy, but Tony Bennett. I like Tony Bennett, and I'll take UVA. Creighton, NC State. What do you think?
My cousin Boo Corrigan is the athletic director at NC State, so I have them advancing past Creighton. So that's my second upset in 5 picks.
Well, I don't know Boo about NC State or Creighton, but I'm picked Creighton because
you did. Oh yeah, well they're the higher seed.
Well, it didn't Clemson, I think, beat NC State 3 times this year.
That's fine. That's not Creighton though.
But I'm not sure how good they are. Baylor. Who do you get in the Baylor game?
I have Baylor, even though I really kind of wanted to get that UCSB just because of their campus.
I've never been to campus. Baylor, another one that has not had a great history with gun violence and basketball players. But, I like Baylor. I think he does a good job. Obviously, they won it last year. I think that experience of running through the whole thing, it will come back again. So I have Baylor winning that game as well. Missouri, Utah State.
Mizzou.
I got Mizzou.
Yep. And then I have Arizona beating Princeton, although I really think that it's going to be a 2-point game.
So I have Arizona beating Princeton as well, but we're both around that age where we remember Princeton used to give people hell in the NCAA tournament. And they may do that again, but at the end of the day, just probably not enough athletes, and Arizona probably pulls that out. Getting on to the next set of the bracket, Purdue, Texas Southern, Purdue or who wins the playing game. We're both picking Purdue, right?
Yes.
I mean, they're gonna win. I mean, they got a guy that can cut down the nets without a ladder. I mean, he didn't need a ladder when they won the Big Ten. They won the Big Ten regular season. They won the Big Ten tournament, and listening to their coach, who rightfully is complaining that they don't have enough guys listed in the top 3 teams of the All Big Ten, and he wonders, does winning matter? And that's all he does. He wins there. I mean, I'm picking Purdue. Memphis, Florida Atlantic.
I'm going with Florida Atlantic. FAU. Although,
so you know who the Memphis coach is, right?
No, who is it?
Penny Hardaway.
Oh, I might have to change my pick.
I mean, remember little Penny yelling and screaming at people?
Yeah. So Penny Hardaway.
I'm going with Memphis.
All right.
Duke, Oral Roberts.
I know you probably picked Oral Roberts. I'm going with Duke. They're playing really good basketball right now.
Well, I don't know if that's an oral joke or, but I'm Duke. I got Duke. There's no way they lose. Now, Oral Roberts is 30-4. That's another one. You're looking at Charleston. You're looking at Oral Roberts. Some of these guys are going to be up for jobs soon. I mean, you go 31-3 and 30-4. You got to be on somebody's short list, don't you?
I'm sorry, I can't see your jacket. What does that jacket say?
Maryland.
And you picked 2 in the Duke Oral Roberts game?
I picked Duke.
How does that? I don't understand the jacket and the pick. They don't go together.
Well, again, I picked UVA as well. So we're in the Big Ten now. I'm not a guy who lives in the past, so I will pick Duke. I don't like Virginia way more than I don't like Duke.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I look at Duke as they were an absolute force to reckon with. And Maryland, if you talk to Duke guys back in the day when Maryland and Duke were playing all those games, Maryland was winning national championship, Final Four, they and Duke were going back and forth. They will tell you, I've seen the interviews where they say, we didn't think North Carolina was our nemesis. It was Maryland. They said it was Maryland Duke for a number of years. And I'm not a guy who hates Duke because I think they were great, and I think Maryland was great. Now, it's only basketball. Maryland Duke lacrosse, Maryland Duke football. Maryland Duke lacrosse is a big deal. Maryland Duke football's not. Tennessee, Louisiana. Who you got?
Tennessee, Louisiana. I want to get into a time machine, go back to 1989, and have it be a women's game.
Okay.
Those are two of the best women's programs. But I'm picking Tennessee. They're a 4 seed. They play in the SEC. They have to have something to work on as far as beating Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC has been a little bit hot the last 2 years with basketball. You get all that football money every single year. You got to put it somewhere, and they're putting it into recruiting. I mean, I've been to Alabama, and I've seen the basketball facilities. Unbelievable. And Tennessee's doing the same thing, Auburn. And like I've said before with football, SEC has the ability to recruit whoever they want. They don't have the academic standards that some of the other conferences have. It's not saying they got a bunch of dummies, but they just don't. They can get 1 or 2 guys in. You get 1 or 2 guys in a year on a basketball team. Next thing you know, 3 years go by and you got 6 studs. And
no, 3 years go by and at least 2 of those guys are gone.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the academic help these guys get. I mean, with the tutoring and everything else, it's more schools should do it. I'm a big believer in giving kids an opportunity, and the SEC does. So I've got UT in that one, but I do have Providence beating Kentucky in the next game.
I will tell you a wise. So first of all, this is why I'm looking for upsets. I love them, but Kentucky lost last year, I think, in the first round. So you got to feel like these kids are going to come in with a little bit of purpose. And one of the great people I know told me 6 months ago, take every penny you have and bet it on Kentucky to win the national championship.
This year?
Yeah, this year. Oh. And he also, at the same time, he said, I know Carolina's ranked number 1. That's fool's gold. They're not that good.
Yeah, they didn't even they didn't make the – how about that? Preseason number 1, they don't make the NCAA tournament. They've already got at least 2 guys in the transfer portal. Maybe the hire was a mistake. Sometimes you let the emotions and you let the players make a decision that the big boys in the athletic department need to make and not listen to 19 and 20-year-olds. I'm thinking that he's not long for that UNC job. So I have Providence. It's one of those games I just think is going to be an upset. It's a 6-11 game. I think Calipari's had a rough year. I just don't. I could be wrong. They can make a great run, but Kansas State, Montana State.
My initial response is, does anybody really care? But obviously people in Kansas and Montana do. I took the higher, so I'll take Kansas State. Sorry.
I'm not even sure if people in Kansas care because they're rooting for Kansas, right?
Very true.
I got Kansas State as well. Michigan State, USC. I'm just blinders on Big Ten here. I'm going Michigan State. I like Tom Izzo.
Love Tom.
Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously Vermont's going to take down Marquette. Just kidding about that. I definitely picked Marquette. The Big East, top to bottom, it might not be the world's greatest conference, but top, they got some talent.
So this is Shaka Smart, right? He's now at Marquette. And if he has success at Marquette, which he's having right now, I believe they are another one who won the regular season and the tournament. If he's having success at Marquette and he had success at VCU and he kind of dropped the ball at Texas, it tells me he's more comfortable in the smaller schools and the recruiting and the more of the program building than he is in being able to grab the one and dones and the big money that Texas has and all that. So I haven't spent a lot of time looking at Marquette, but I'll bet you I do know one thing. I heard somebody else mention it. They didn't go portal hunting. Like it's his guys. He's not bringing in a bunch of one and done guys. So I'm going Marquette. I've got them, advancing in the first round for sure. On the other side, who do you have in the Houston
Houston? Not even worth discussing.
Okay. Yep. Iowa Auburn.
I went. My friend Dickie McGee's going to kill me for this one, but I went with Iowa.
Bruce Pearl's still the coach at Auburn, right?
He is.
I like Bruce. I like Bruce Pearl, and I think he's going to throw some athletes out there. And I don't think Iowa can beat him up enough. I got Auburn.
Okay.
The U versus Drake, not the singer, the school Drake.
I have Miami.
I have Miami. I'm going Big Ten again. Indiana over Kent State.
Yep.
Iowa State Pitt.
I have Iowa State.
I have Iowa State. I've got a friend whose brother is the Pitt coach, but I think Iowa State's going to beat him.
I have Ohio State winning the next round too, so I need Ohio State not to lose to Pitt.
There you go. Xavier, Kennesaw State.
I have Xavier.
I've got Xavier too. I'm afraid we're going to put too many Big East teams in there and have the Big Ten. What's the Big Ten's done the last 2 years, which is kind of shit the bed in the tournament. But all right, Texas A&M, Penn State.
I have Penn State. I'm a Philly guy.
So do I. And it's because they had such a good run in the Big Ten. And most of the guys on there are 27 years old on Penn State. I mean, they got a bunch of 7th and 8th year guys. I mean, I heard Scott Van Pelt talking about it. They play like the old guys at the Y. They back you down. As soon as you double, they kick it out to the 24-year-old who transferred from Bucknell, and he hits a jumper just like you're playing with the old men down in Narberth back in the day. They may be the oldest team in NCAA this year.
Got Van Pelt.
Well, what's Shrewsbury going to do? I mean, he probably has 12 scholarships to give next year because all those guys are 5th and 6th year guys.
AARP discount.
Yeah. Well, that matches their football team. I mean, their quarterback was in his 8th year. Texas Colgate. There's no real reason to discuss that, right? That's Texas.
That's
Kansas
Texas.
Howard. Kansas Howard. I got Kansas.
Arkansas, Illinois. I'm going with the Razorbacks. Nolan Richardson, Ed Lichty.
Yeah, Nolan Richardson, I liked him a lot. If you've never heard the story of Nolan Richardson listening to a radio game and was listening to the Indiana State game, and they kept saying, Bird on the pass, Bird on the score, Bird on this. He tells a great story. YouTube it, and he talks all about it. And he's listening to it, and he's like, "Damn, I got to see this brother Bird. He must be a heck of a player." And then when he finds out he's a white guy, he's blown away. I think it's in his Hall of Fame, in Bird's Hall of Fame. He talks about it. But I got Illinois winning. I'm going Big Ten on that one. I don't think they're going to let us down 3 years in a row. St. Mary's VCU.
As far as I know, Shaka Smart left VCU, and St. Mary's is going to win that game.
All right, so I'm going to use that one as one of my upsets. I'm going to say VCU for no reason other than you got to pick a couple upsets. I have no reason to pick it. I do have a reason to pick it on the next one. I'm picking Iona over UConn.
Ooh, I'm picking UConn.
I think Rick Pitino has done his time. I think his sentence is over. I think he's going to win a game or two in the tournament, and then he is going to be at a Power 5 school next year at 70 years old or whatever he is. I think he's going
like your age.
I think I think he's gonna, now listen, keep the restaurants, close them early, keep the women away, whatever you got to do.
Starts.
But it's exactly. I think he's coming back. I think he's got more to give to the game than his son ever did. I don't even know where his son's coaching now, but I think Rick Pitino is going to get a W, maybe two. We'll save that for later. Then TCU and whoever they play in, I got TCU.
I got TCU.
I don't see any of these playing games going. Gonzaga, Grand Canyon.
I'll tell you what, Grand Canyon, it looks like this year's St. Peter's, the team that made that miracle run. They beat Kentucky, as a matter of fact, last year, but not so fast. I'm going with Gonzaga.
So I don't know anything about Grand Canyon. I thought it was one of those like Phoenix. I thought it was like an online school. And
it's a Danny Glover in it.
Huh?
I said Grand Canyon's a movie with Danny Glover.
Okay. Yep. It's also a place I've never been. But again, I thought it was like one of those online schools. I'm going to pick Gonzaga, and that there's not a lot to say about that. What Northwestern, Boise State.
Boise State.
Well, they're not. They're not playing on the blue turf, right? This is a basketball game.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take. I'm going to take Northwestern. I'm going to go Big Ten here.
I was going to say, you just call them all Big Ten schools,
I'm not calling them all Big Ten because they've killed us the last 2 years. But I think Collins does a good job. I think they've got a good mix of players. They had a heck of a season in the Big Ten this year. And I'm not sure who Boise State has played, but they've lost 9 times, and they probably haven't played any Big Ten teams, and they've lost more than they should. So,
tell you what, I'm making a change right now. I'm going Northwestern. Do you think Northwestern can beat UCLA?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I got UCLA winning the next game.
Okay.
Go back up that, and we'll go back to the other side. All right. So UCLA is one of those ones that a lot of people are hot on.
I'll tell you who's hot.
Who do you got? All right, you got Boise State. Who do you think wins, UCLA or Boise State?
UCLA. No, I switched it to Northwestern.
I think Northwestern gets in the Sweet 16.
I got UCLA winning based solely on the hotness of their cheerleaders.
Are they USC cheerleaders?
No. Well, they're close. It's 6 1, half dozen the other.
Yeah. They're all better looking than the Zag cheerleaders, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Just don't see Zags. But I do have Zags beating TCU.
Ooh, I have TCU winning that game.
A lot of people do. In the Iona VCU game, who you would have
I have
UConn St. Mary's, right?
Yes.
Right, so you have UConn St. Mary's. I've got Iona winning again, and Pitino celebrating. No TMZ. Take everybody's phone. Checked at the door. That's as far as I have them going, but I have them making a surprise into the Sweet 16. Just because, everybody will love to see it.
Wow.
Against you have Arkansas. I have Illinois. Who do you have Kansas against Arkansas?
Right now, I have Arkansas winning that game.
Are you trying to get a round of golf with John Daly, or do you really think Arkansas is good?
My brother-in-law is an Arkansas guy. I'm probably voting with my heart a little bit.
Okay. Kansas is where, like, historically they've had one of the best programs ever.
And I know. Change that.
Yeah, and they pay their guys a lot better than others with NIL. I'm going to go Kansas. So right now I got Northwestern, Zags, Iona, and a shocker. Not a Shaka Smart, a shocker. Kansas, and then we both have PSU, right? And we both have Texas.
Yes.
PSU, Texas. Who do you got? 2 big schools, 2 football powerhouses. Who do you have in the basketball game?
Right now, I have Texas.
Okay.
So you're just taking the Big Ten schools the whole way.
Taking them everywhere, but I have PSU. I think they're gonna. I think the old men are gonna win 2 in this tournament. I think they're gonna win 2, and there's not going to be enough ice packs moving into the second weekend. But I think PSU wins. I just think they got a lot of old guys and a lot of guys who have played a lot of basketball at a lot of places. I mean, they got a guy transferring in from Siena after playing 3 straight years. And all of a sudden, he's a second-team All-American at Penn State. Penn State hasn't had an All-American since 1954 in basketball. I mean, it's something crazy like that. And the kid, I think his name's Funk or whatever. The kid hitting all the threes from Bucknell. He played a lot of basketball at Bucknell. That's where you run into these teams where these guys, the one and dones, the two and dones. But then I have Xavier. And that's, I'm not sure if that's a good move. I have Xavier beating Iowa State.
I have Iowa State winning that game.
Okay, so we're going to be different there.
Yeah.
I do have Indiana beating the U.
So hold on. Is this the first Big Ten school you've picked so far, or is this the only one?
No, I've got the Big Ten.
You literally, have you not picked the Big Ten school yet? What's going to happen can all the Big Ten schools in the tournament actually win the tournament?
No. Only one Big Ten team can win the tournament.
Okay. But it's going to be, obviously, that's up. We know it's a Big Ten team.
But I also then have Auburn beating Houston.
Auburn. Oh, wait, you picked Auburn to beat Iowa. What conference is Iowa in?
I was in the Big Ten.
And you didn't pick them?
Nope.
What did Iowa ever do to you?
Nothing. My dad went to Iowa. I love Iowa. Now Kenneth Steele, I love it. I don't think the recipe this year is to have 8 white guys on a 13-man roster. I don't think it's going to work this year. Call me crazy, but and that's I haven't really watched Iowa this year, but I can't imagine they're any different than they've been in years past. But I have all.
I have Houston beating Iowa in the second round.
Okay, so you got Houston, I got Auburn, I got Indiana, you got Indiana, or no? You have, you got Indiana.
First, I have Indiana winning second. Yes, I have them then playing Houston.
All right, and then you have Iowa State or Xavier.
Where are we?
No, I'm saying
Iowa State.
Yep.
Went with the Big Ten school.
There you go. All right. The other side, Bama beating Maryland.
Yes, I have that also.
I got UVA beating Charleston.
I have UVA beating Charleston as well.
Maryland is a Big Ten school. I have them losing. I have Baylor beating Creighton. You have Baylor
beating NC State.
Who's going to be mad at you?
Oregon.
I have Arizona beating Missouri.
As do I. Moving right along.
Yeah, well, this side's easy. That's why I got Purdue beating Memphis. You have probably Purdue beating Florida Atlantic.
Yep.
All right, Duke against Tennessee for me. This is a toss-up.
Yep.
But I think the injury for Tennessee, I'm gonna again piss Maryland fans off. I'm picking Duke.
Yeah, as am I. And then you have
I have Providence. You have Kentucky.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. I think we both probably have Kansas State winning.
I have Kentucky winning.
You have Kentucky. So you're all in on Calipari, and you've got what I got going with Pitino. You think the Italian is going to pull it off.
Yeah, I think Calipari's got it this year. Not the whole thing, but I think he's going to take them quite far.
Okay. And then what do you got? Izzo against Shaka.
I have Marquette taking that one, although I love Tom Izzo. I love
Tom Izzo. He's a football coach, coaching basketball. I love a lot of the things he does. I can listen to him talk.
Yep.
But I do think Marquette. I think they're gonna win. So I don't have any Big Ten teams on that side of the bracket, and I got three on the other side, but I can't imagine any of the three. Two of the three I don't have advancing. I have, well, we'll get to it next week, but I think the way the tournament is going here, I could see Purdue going on a run. I could see maybe Indiana going on a run. But I do think that the Big Ten might not shit the bed early this year like they've done in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, and what we'll do is we'll put all these down, and next week we'll take a look at how we did. And as the weekends go, and then we can kind of we'll treat this like hockey playoffs. We'll be able to reseed everything and then kind of go how we go. So
I reseed bracket too for the pool that I'm in.
That's up to the guys. It's how your guys do it, man. It's how your guys do it. The Burke family one is more about bragging rights, but we might put a couple bucks here or there on it, not a whole lot. So
winner gets the contents of the cussing jar.
Oh, well, that's mostly my money. So I would maybe I'll win. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But the cussing jar, yeah, that would have been kind of full the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy. But anyway, so there you go. Those are NCAA picks, and we will discuss the NFL guys. I want to talk next week early about the NFL and all the free agency, because some guys are getting paid a ton of money. And I haven't even heard of some of these guys. The money's gotten outrageous in the NFL. I think Derek Carr is moving over and going to get like $100 million. Now, I obviously have heard of Derek Carr, but some of these, I haven't. And again, we'll talk about it later. But there's a guy, Farrell Edmonds, who played at Maryland, great tight end, and then played at the Broncos. Tremaine Edmonds is his son, and he's leaving Buffalo to go to Chicago for $72 million. I mean, is that all real? Is he going to get all of it? No, but he's a $14 million cap plus on the 2023. The club has an option of 3 years, 50. I want to talk about some of the money these guys are getting. I mean, he's a heck of a player, but he's an inside linebacker who most people probably don't know if you're outside of Buffalo, or you don't know his dad played at Maryland. And I mean, and he had played for the Steelers. I mean, this is nuts what some of these guys are getting. I'm looking down the line, and I mean, the money's gotten out of hand. So I think that's kind of something we can talk about maybe early next week when find out how much Baker actually got, and if now that Aaron Rodgers has crawled out of the darkness and is maybe done peyote or whatever the heck he does, and he's gonna tell us that's an interesting one, Rodgers.
Yeah.
Is he all in? Is he going to go to OTAs? Is he going to sit there with the young guys? Is he going to, and then, he's probably as old as Zach, what's his name's mom, who's an internet star, the BYU guy. You think Aaron Rodgers hits on Zach's mom? I mean, what do you?
Hey, any port in a storm, right?
So anyway, I think that's pretty good for right now, man.
I love it. He's Bergie. I'm Booker. We do what we do. We do it pretty well.
Go Terps.